Without further ado, hello, Longwei. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Bettina. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you for accepting to uh, join to be on the Global Scholar Gateway. For our viewers who are meeting you for the first time, do you mind introducing yourself to them and telling us who you are, where were you born, and where did you go to elementary school, high school, and college?
Okay, so hi everyone watching this. My name is Longwei. I'm from Cambodia, born and raised in the capital city of Phnom Penh. And I studied in Western International School from first grade until 12th grade until I graduated. And I'm currently an almost graduate. I'm finishing my bachelor in computer science as a dual degree student with both the American University of Phnom Penh and Fort State University.
So you mentioned that you went to Western International School as
Yep,
as an elementary student. So you've been exposed to the international world for a long time, right?
yep. So I've
How
been
how,
studying
how was that?
English. So I've been studying English since I was about six. So Western International School, as the name suggests, is like if we adopt an international program, we study most of our curriculum in English, no matter what is the subject, no matter if it's science, math, or social science. We studied everything in English, and I'm more comfortable speaking English and articulating my thoughts in English more than in my own native language. As I started at a very young age, and I stick to that same school for all 12 years from first grade till 12th grade.
Wow, is that a common practice in Cambodia, or why did your parent choose that route for you?
So actually, it's not just one school for me. With initially in elementary school, I studied both in Western International School and also a public school. So in the morning, I would go to Western. In the afternoon, I would choose public school so that I can learn Western, which I learn everything in English, and public school, I learn everything in Khmer so that I have a balance and good use of both languages. And that
Mhm.
went up until ninth grade. Then I stopped going to the public school and mainly focused on Western plus some extra tutoring on the side.
Why do you think your parents chose to expose you to the Western school, the Western type of education at such an early age?
So I guess this has to do with my parents being both teachers. They understand the value of education, and they themselves also went to school abroad. So they went to study masters in Japan and France. So they feel like it's a need for me to know both Khmer and English. That's why they encouraged me to start studying at an international school and getting to know the international curriculum from a young age.
So your parents were also former participants of study abroad programs. You said they went to France, both your dad and your mom, and them being educators as well. They knew how transformational studying abroad could be. They have lived the experience, and therefore it was a good opportunity for their child also to benefit from that opportunity to be exposed to an international world, to an international education. And that's the reason why they chose to send you to a Western international education school at a very early age in elementary school. And then you were doing that, I would say, concurrently with the local education system as well. So you mentioned that after elementary school, you went to the same international high school as well, and then
Yep.
you went to college in Cambodia. What did you study in Cambodia?
So in Cambodia, I went to the American University of Phnom Penh, and my major being Bachelor of Science in Information Technology Management. And it's also a dual degree program with Forte State with Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. So
Okay.
mostly we studied both pretty much the same course as Forte's.
Mhm. So let's talk a little bit about the American University of Phnom Penh in Cambodia. It's located in Phnom Penh. I got the opportunity to visit the campus. It's a very beautiful campus indeed. How do the people who are watching us from Cambodia or from the area, Southeast Asia, and who are interested in joining the American University of Phnom Penh, what are the admission criteria? What are the conditions that they need to fulfill to meet in order to be a part of that prestigious university in Phnom Penh?
Okay, so the admission criteria for AUPP would be that first you must have good use of English. So if you do not have like an English validation score such as the IELTS or TOEFL, you need to take an English placement test with our school to ensure that you have good use of English. And even though if you fail that test, you still have to take an English preparatory program so that you can match up to speed before
What
actually.
is the score, the English, if they choose to go, for example, for TOEFL, what is the required score?
So for IELTS, it will be 6.0.
Okay, 6.0. Okay.
Yep, with some subject at 5.5 still being accepted.
Okay.
And for TOEFL, I think it's a 69 or a 79. I'm not really familiar with TOEFL since it's more on the American side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I mostly use IELTS since I was studying with an English program.
Yeah, IELTS tend to be a little bit popular, I would say, around the world. It's a little bit popular in Southeast Asia and also getting more popularity in West Africa. From that part of the world, people are more into TOEFL and Duolingo. But beyond the English language requirement, what else are some conditions that students need to meet in order to be admitted to AUPP, the American University of Phnom Penh?
Yep. So other than the English requirement, student must pass. So for local student, they must pass a national exam with a minimum grade of passing grade of E. And for students who went to private school who didn't take the national exam, they need to submit their transcript in high school for both grade 10, 11, and 12 to the school and prove that they passed and graduated. And if it's someone who's transferring in, they need to show their transcript from other university as well.
Okay. Okay. So, and you mentioned that AUPP, the American University of Phnom Penh, provides programs, dual degree programs with Fort Hays State University, and you chose to enroll in the dual degree program in computer science. Why is that? Why did you choose to study computer science?
So the reason I choose to do computer science is that I've been fascinated by technology. So like I'm curious about how things work. For example, how does a TV remote work? How does an RC car work? So that kind of lead me toward like robotic engineering. But then since I was fortunate enough to get the scholarship opportunity from the government, I was able to study in AUPP as a computer science major.
Oh, so you went to AUPP with a scholarship funded by the government of Cambodia.
Yep, by the previous prime minister. Yep.
Oh, okay. Do you want to share more about that scholarship? Because our viewers might not know that there are possibilities of getting scholarships in order for them to go to that private and prestigious American university based in Phnom Penh. How did you get that scholarship, and what are the criteria of selection for students who might be interested in joining AUPP in Cambodia?
So the criteria might have changed over the years, but it's pretty much still pretty similar. So for local students, you must have a national exam grade of A, B, or C, and you will go through 2 rounds of screening of exams. And if you pass those 2 rounds, then you will be selected to be like a scholarship student. But the opportunity has been growing in recent years. With me being the first generation for AUPP, there was only 15 seats available. But currently, over the years, AUPP has starting to provide more and more scholarship towards the computer science majors or the School of Digital Technologies, with some years having over 300 seats for students to join AUPP. And it's not from one scholarship fund, but from multiple scholarship funds.
And what do those scholarships typically found? The one, for example, that you got from the Ministry of Education or Telecommunication that you mentioned?
It was from the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication.
Okay, the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication. Is it a fully funded scholarship or is it partially funded? What are some of the things that they cover when you benefit from that scholarship?
So some of the scholarship, they have different conditions. So some of the majors, so for example, in my year, we got full funded for every major. But in recent year, there's been some changes to the rules and you only get fully funded scholarship to single degree programs. And if you want to do dual degree programs such as I do, you have to pay a partial more to get the degree.
Okay, so typically students who are interested in joining the American University of Phnom Penh, based in Cambodia. So if you're watching us from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Thailand, and so on and so forth, from Vietnam, and you want to join that prestigious university, the American University of Phnom Penh. As I said, I got a chance to visit the campus. It's a very beautiful campus, wonderful staff, wonderful facilities. I would say it's just an institution that has state-of-the-art buildings. So it is a university of the 21st century. And as Longwei has just mentioned, that university also provides different kinds of scholarships. If you decide, for example, to go for a single degree, a degree that you will earn from only AUPP, you can have the possibility of getting a fully funded scholarship. But if you choose to get a dual degree from some other partner institutions that AUPP works with, Fort Hays State University being one of them, you can get partial funding, and then you will need to pay some, I would say, portion of the tuition out of pocket. Let's talk a little bit more about the cost of tuition, of attending. I don't know if you have information about that. How much does it typically cost for a student without scholarship to attend AUPP?
Yep. Before I get into cost, may I add that the scholarship that I mentioned just now is specifically to students locally who took the national exam. So if students from neighboring country who still want to study in AUPP, there's also school-funded scholarship. So the scholarship I mentioned earlier was government-funded scholarship. So there are students from like Myanmar who came to AUP on USAID scholarship, and there are other students as well who are here at AUP on the actual school scholarship as well. And for a college tuition, a degree program, no matter what's the major, it's $6,000 a year. That is assuming you study 10, 10 courses in a year, so 5 courses a semester. And for dual degree program, it's $9,000 a year.
Wow. That is, I would say, compared to the cost of tuition in the United States, it's very affordable. 6,000 for single degree from AUPP and 9,000 for dual degrees. That is very, 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 I would say, affordable. And when I say that, I'm comparing it to the cost of tuition in the United States. And it's good that you indicated that the scholarships that are provided to the government of Phnom Penh are only destined to Cambodian students who've taken the national Cambodian exam. If you are an international student wanting to travel to Cambodia for studies and deciding to enroll at AUPP, you might have some other scholarships, but not the one that is provided by the government of Cambodia. The university has different kind of scholarships that you can apply to. And if you are selected for some of them, then you can get them. And Longwei has just mentioned that at AUPP, you have students from Myanmar. I've met some students from Malaysia as well. I know that there are different nationalities on their campus, so it is also open to international students. But Longwei, do you know if there is a difference in tuition for international students and domestic students? Because the $6,000 that you mentioned for single degree programs, is that for only domestic students, and I mean Cambodian students? Is it also applicable to students who come from Myanmar? Do they also pay 6,000 or do they pay more?
So the tuition fee is the same for all students, regardless if it's a local student or international student.
Wow, that is very generous of them.
Yep. And we have like more than 10 nationalities studying in our schools, like Cambodian, Myanmar, Korean, even US citizens are also studying in AUPP as well.
Wow, that's, yeah. I haven't met US students when I went there, but because it was during the summer, students were mostly gone. They were done. I met quite a few. I went there for a conference, and I also know that beyond American students, the university also has American staff, American faculty members, and so on and so forth. So it's truly an international university. It's a global university, and it provides high quality education to the people who choose to study at the American University of Phnom Penh in Cambodia. So why did you choose? Because you mentioned that you are in a dual degree program between Forte State University and AUPP. And I know that AUPP has some other partners in the United States, but why did you choose Forte State University?
So the reason that I choose Forte State is mainly due to the dual degree partnership that AUPP has at Fort Hayes. And the thing is that I find the connection with Fort Hayes valuable, that not only we are getting the resource in AUPP with professors coming all around the world, but we are also exposed to new resource that we get firsthand from professor and faculty who are teaching here in the States.
Yeah. So the $9,000 that you mentioned for dual degree program, because you are getting a degree from AUPP and you're getting a degree from Forte State University. Did you get a scholarship from Forte State University as well to add on to the one that you got from the government of Cambodia?
So I think the scholarship that we receive from Fort Hayes is for only students who come to study on campus to Fort Hayes.
Just like you are.
Yeah, so I'm currently in Fort Hayes right now, and each international student can get like $1,000 scholarship when they arrive per semester.
Okay, so in addition to the scholarship that you earn from the Cambodian government, Forte State University also provided funding for you to support your, towards the payment of your tuition here at Forte State University. I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about the scholarships that you got from the Cambodian government, because that is a significant amount of money to get fully funding scholarship. I know that scholarships sometimes can be very competitive. How did you get that scholarship? Why do you think that you were one of those students who were selected to benefit from that fully funded scholarship from the Cambodian government?
So I think the reason I got chosen for the scholarship is through like fair competition, since the scholarship doesn't require anyone to do an interview or to be selected. It's solely based on performance and merit. So we went through 2 rounds of testing through exam with math and English. So after that 2 round, I got the top score in the scholarship exam. That's why I was given the scholarship to study at AUPP.
100% based on merit. You didn't fake it. You didn't cheat. You competed. You went through an open competition with your peers, and you got decent scores, not only in math, but also in English. And there was just no reason for the scholarship providers to deny you that wonderful opportunity to fund your education. I know that in the bio that I read about you, that you were also involved in your community in such a way that that involvement also created some opportunities for you to be on the global stage. Do you want to talk a little bit on your involvement in your community in Phnom Penh, in Cambodia, to the people who are watching us, and how they too can get involved in such a way that it creates opportunities for them to be exposed to the global stage, to meet people from all kinds of backgrounds and create doors for them?
Yep. So I guess the opportunity for me to interact with people from all over the world came from the Student Affairs Office. So through AUPP, there's many opportunities for students to explore and join different exchange program and symposium and conference. So my journey started back in 2023 when I joined the Asia Pacific Youth Exchange Program with the Hanyang University from South Korea, and also from other universities such as Mizoram University in India as well. So that was my first international conference that I get to meet delegates from other country and exactly come together and learn from each other and share experience regarding different practices in the industry in locally in Phnom Penh.
Talk to me a little bit about how you got selected to participate in that Youth Summit conference. What were some of the criteria? Did you need to do some projects, and what were some of the things that you were doing that made you stand out among your peers who also applied to participate in that program?
I guess the selection process was mainly up to the student affair office. There was, as you said, during the summer, the school is pretty empty. So the committee has provided AUPP with 10 seats for their students, and the seat wasn't filled up, so I was given the opportunity to join automatically.
Okay. But were you kind of somehow involved with some of the sustainable development goals? Because that summit, I know that it addressed a little bit some of the stuff related to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. In Phnom Penh, in Cambodia, what was your interaction, your involvement, any kind of training, any kind of projects that you conducted in that sense?
So I don't think I received any formal training. So the Asia Pacific Youth Exchange Program was my first experience into getting to know the United Nations Development Goals. And that time was solely focusing on sustainable goal number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. And that time we actually was involved in our local industry. So different groups go to different type of industry. For example, for our group, we went to K&K Pipe where we researched the production process and see the amount of waste they produce and how we can improve them and help them grow sustainably. And other company went to such as EV manufacturing company, uh, like social assistance to international or foreigner. So that was my first experience with SDG, and this has led me to meet many new people in Cambodia outside of my university, which expanded my network and led me to journeys into many more.
Yeah, the Sustainable Development Goals, for our viewers who are not very familiar with them, I would say those are goals that were set in 2015, back in 2015, by country members of the United Nations. And there are 17 different goals. And as Longwei mentioned, he addressed goal number 8. And I was also personally involved with the Sustainable Development Goals when I was back in Burkina Faso. I started a nonprofit organization with some colleagues, and we addressed goal number 4 and number 6. Number 4 being providing quality education to rural communities in Burkina Faso, and number 6, I think, is about sanitation. I think it's number 6. Yeah, providing sanitation. So what we would do was to, provide opportunities for students to learn. So we would organize different kinds of workshops on different topics for our students. And we would also work towards ending and providing sanitation facilities, latrines, to rural communities. Because back then, when we started the organization in 2015, we read a report that indicated that about 70% of the population in Burkina Faso did not have access to latrines. So people were practicing open defecation. And we knew that as teachers, I was a teacher back in Burkina Faso, and we started the organization with other teachers. So we knew that practicing open defecation was going to create a lot of health issues to those rural community members. So we would go within those communities, sit down with them, sensitize them on the dangers of practicing open defecation, and raising their awareness to the point that instead of trying to buy the latest iPhone or the most expensive smartphone, they can build a latrine by themselves, use it, instead of spending a lot of money going to the doctor, trying to cure the diseases that they've contracted due to those bad practices by defecating in the air. So we've been successful. We've been able to put an end to open defecation in 6 villages in the region where I was teaching. Because when we go in the community, then 3 months later, we go back and we found that they've built latrine, they're using them, and they became healthier. So if you are watching us from Cambodia, from Burkina Faso, wherever you're watching us from, you too can be a solution to some of those sustainable development goals. Do your research about them and see which one you can work on within your community to solve some of those issues. As I mentioned, there are 17 different goals, and each and every one of us can be the type of change that we want to see in our communities by bringing some of the wonderful solutions that we might have sometimes to help solve and improve living conditions to our citizens. So let's talk about your journey to Fort Hays State University. As a dual degree program participant, when you got to Hays, to Fort Hays State University campus, what were your first impressions?
So my first impression was that it's pretty cold. So I arrived in January,
It was cold.
yeah, it was cold. So Hay just experienced a winter storm that earlier that week. So when I came here, it was pretty cold, and I'm not used to that since we're both from pretty tropical climate country. And then coming first to Hay and experience snow for like the first time in a while, so it's pretty hard to adapt in the beginning. We had to wear many layers. But when I walk around in the morning, I still find the campus in Hay very peaceful and very like nice, especially the limestone building give it a more historical vibe than modern university like AUPP.
You were first of all shocked by the level of cold that you were exposed to. Yeah, in January, uh, we had a lot of snow, and I remember when you got here, it was definitely cold back then. And coming from Cambodia or West Africa, we're not used to that type of weather. So yeah, it can be very cold. So for our friends in Cambodia who are watching us and who are also planning to come to Fort Hays State University, typically I think most of the students come here in January in the spring semester. So be prepared, as Longwei mentioned. Typically in January in Hays, Kansas, it snows and it's very cold. So come prepared, come with a lot of layers, some very
Yep.
good sweaters, and yeah, you'll be just fine as long as you are prepared. You
Yep.
can cope with the cold, and you'll be fine. Let's talk about your interaction with students, American students, some other international students. How was your interaction with the people that you met here, the friends that you made here?
Okay, so my first interaction with an American student would be my roommate. So when I first arrived, he was really helpful in introducing me to everything of how like the dorm work, how the cafeterias work, how we get to take our meals, how to like where gonna do our laundry and where stuff is at. I asked him for direction of where to go to the gym, and everyone just seemed like helpful. It's like they're not that unapproachable. Everyone is nice and always with a smile in Haze. So
Mhm.
if you got any question or anything you need help with, don't hesitate to just stop someone on the street side of the road and just ask for
Yeah,
help. I'm pretty sure they would really
yeah,
much help.
yeah, definitely. That is something that I also found out when I first got to the United States as an international student. Uh, American students, at first, they might look unapproachable, but as soon as you start talking to them, they are definitely willing to provide a type of guidance that you need, a type of support. They are willing, for example, if they have a vehicle, to take you to the grocery store for you to do your shopping, and then they will bring you back. If you need something on a weekend, you need to go somewhere on a weekend, you don't have any means of transportation, they are typically very happy to take you wherever you want to go. They're happy to connect you with different kind of resources, as Longwei mentioned. His roommate helped him use the washer and dryers, how to find those places, and go to different games on campus, and so on and so forth. So just don't be afraid to connect with those individuals that you meet, because yeah, as I said, at first they might just be unapproachable, but that's not the case. Typically, what we've noticed is that if you don't reach out to them, if they don't know you, they won't talk to you. But if you talk to them, you initiate the conversation for the most part, most of the time. On campuses, I would say, for the most part, it works out very well. They're willing to help you. They're willing to guide you. They're willing to provide the type of support that you need. So do not be afraid to connect with your peer students. and ask them questions. If you need any kind of support, if they can do it, they would be very happy to do so. What about your interaction with professors, the American classroom? How different was it from the one that you have in Cambodia?
Okay, so the one thing that is different about how we study in classroom compared between AUPP and Fort Hayes that in AUPP, most of the classes is like a lecture style, where the professor will just teach you the materials from the slides, and then we will have like a sort of, if any student has a question or anything concerned, we raise our hand and we ask and discuss with the professor. But mostly if there's no problem, the professor will just go on with his lecture and normally. But in Fort Hayes, I find the professor here is more interactive. They would stop the lecture midway to discuss with the student about certain points that are important for us to learn the materials.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. It's kind of more student-centered in the American educational system. At the graduate level, that's what I know. I haven't studied in the US as an undergraduate, but at the graduate level, graduate students are the ones who typically build the content. You're given the books, the articles that you need to read, you go read them, and then you come to class and you discuss with your classmates. It's not the teacher who comes and stands in front of the classroom and lecture you on the contents that he's built for you. That's something that I've also experienced. That was the case when I was in Burkina Faso. Lecture intensive. The professor is the one with knowledge, comes and throws it at you, and you take everything in, and then you come and give it back to him when he's ready to assess you, to evaluate you. Let's talk about your involvement beyond the classroom, in the community, the campus community in Hayes. What were some of the things that you were able to do during your time here at Fort Hays State University?
So during my time here at Fort Hays State, I was fortunate enough to be working in the Global Affairs and International Student Service as a global ambassador. So this is due to me being a marketing assistant for the AUPP marketing department. And this was like a joint collaboration project where I mostly handle video and content creation for content and material to help promote the partnership between AUPP and Fort Hays State. And this is also to strengthen the connection and hopefully bring more students to study here on the campus of Fort Hays as well.
Awesome. So you work with the Office of Global Affairs and International Student Services, helping creating content, collaborating on content with AUPP, the American University of Phnom Penh, with the goal of bringing or recruiting more Cambodian students to come to Fort Hays State University. You mentioned that you were working with the Office of Global Affairs, helping creating content. So was that a paid job, or were you doing it on a voluntary basis, or what was it?
So it's a paid non-study job with Global Affairs. Yeah.
Paid job. So one thing that I also want to clarify here, as an international student, if you're coming from one of our partner institutions, AUPP being one of them, the American University of Phnom Penh at Fort Hays State University, you have that possibility to work on campus and be paid. You can work for up to 20 hours a week. That is something that is available to all international students actually in the United States. As a student, you can work on campus for up to 20 hours a week. Let's talk a little bit about your major, computer science, and the sustainable development goals that we spoke about earlier on. How are you using, or how do you intend to use the skills that you are gaining through your major to help address some of the sustainable development goals that we spoke about earlier?
Yep. So I think studying computer science will provide me a lot of technical skills that is beneficial to not just the computer science field, but also to every industry as well, since we all going in an age where we all use technology in some form or another. So with me joining the China-India Youth Leadership Summit, we mainly tackle problems specifically toward technology, but we also incorporate technological aspect to help the solution as well. So for example, one of our project that we proposed was like an even solution. So those in Cambodia know that phones and phone shop are pretty commonplace. So we will place our bins in every phone shop, like creating partners, and we will use a cash reward system. So whenever they bring in their own electronic waste, so we're not trying to solve a huge problem of waste. We know that's a really major concern, but we're trying to specifically target one portion of it, which is electronic waste. So whenever customer bring in electronic waste and put it in our bins, we can reward them with point, which they could use it to redeem stuff in the store or get discount and stuff like that.
So some types of recycling that you have been doing with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and your background in computer science. Talk to me a little bit about the type of advice that you would give to the students who want to also benefit from the things that you've benefited from. You earn a scholarship from the Cambodian government. You were selected to participate to an international conference. You got the opportunity to travel to the United States, to Florida State University, to complete your bachelor's degree program. What were your tips? How did you manage to be that good at what you did? What are some study strategies that you can share with the individuals that are watching us from Cambodia and who also want to just follow your path?
So my advice would be that there's no exact right path to choose, and I wouldn't consider myself as like good or having the greatest study ethics. So like I was lucky since like math was one of my strong points, and that's how I got the scholarship. And the reason I got chosen for like those international conference and being able to join many extracurricular activities that I remember one of the student affairs officer mentioned to me that I'm the type of person to take the opportunity when I see it. It's like whenever there's a program or anything, I don't hesitate to apply.
Mhm.
Whether I get accepted or rejected is just I would give it a try nonetheless, since you will miss every shot you don't take.
Mhm.
So what's the worst thing that can happen is that you got rejected from the program and you won't lose anything. But if you get selected, you will earn significantly a lot more experience from that as well.
That is wonderful. I like your humility when you say that you don't think you are the one with the best studies ethics. But yeah, you've been successful at a very young age. You've been exposed to different international opportunities. Again, at a very young age, being selected to participate to a youth summit in the ASEAN region is a significant accomplishment. Having the opportunity to get the a scholarship from the government, I know that those scholarships are very competitive typically, and you being selected shows us, demonstrates how dedicated you are, how disciplined students you've been so far, and I know that you will continue to be even in your professional life. And also, I like when you mentioned that you are the type of person when you see an opportunity, you just take it. It doesn't cost you anything to apply to opportunities that you might come across. And the worst thing that can happen to you if you apply is to be rejected. They say, no, we are sorry, but we had so many candidates with more appealing background and so on and so forth. And what that does to you is that you learn from that experience and you prepare to submit a stronger application to the next opportunity. That's why I believe in no, meaning next opportunity. When you are rejected, when they
Yes.
said no to you, it is just move to the next opportunity, go stronger, submit a better application, and then get selected. And yeah, as Longwei mentioned, all you get from that is benefit from the wonderful exposures that you get to meet people from all walks of life, from all kind of background. So apply, 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 learn, 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 and keep growing. Do not self-sabotage or self-censor, by choosing not to apply because you think that, oh, you might not have the required background or required skill to be selected for such program. You don't know, just apply. I know people who applied for some kind of programs or opportunities that clearly singled them out, but they applied anyway and they got selected. So as we said, the worst thing that can happen to you if you apply to those kind of opportunities is just a no. And that no simply means next opportunity. Yeah. So Longwei, we're getting close to the end of our conversation. What are some of the advice that you would give to our viewers in Cambodia, in the ASEAN region, who might be considering studying at Fort Hays State University? What are some of the things that you've learned during your time at Fort Hays State University, and what are some of the advice that you would give to them so that when they get here, they get connected and got a fulfilling experience here at Fort Hays State University?
So the advice I would give is that it's worth taking a shot to step out of your comfort zone. I know it's more comfortable to study closer to home with people you know, but choosing the step to like move abroad for me is like I want to experience a new environment. And coming here, I realized that the world is pretty big. There's a lot of different people. I'm not just studying with American citizens here, but I'm also studying with students from different part of the world, such as Latin America, China, Europe. And it's a really good opportunity to learn and connect and build future connections with them as well. And I would say that do your research. You don't have to jump into it right away, but there's also not much to regret coming here as well, since coming here that you will lose nothing, but you can gain valuable connection. So like the American education system here is that Fort Hays is also a very good school in especially in Kansas and also the Midwest. And the thing I would say advise to students to come here is that join a lot of events and put yourself out there. Don't be shy. Everyone here is friendly. No one is gonna judge you. So whenever there's event from whether it's global affair, international student unions, student engagement, just go out there, have fun, and make new friends. You never know who you might meet and what good thing you can learn from that. So yeah, even living by yourself in a dorm in a completely different country is very valuable to like your personal self-development and growth as well.
Wow. Wonderful way of ending this conversation. Don't be shy. Step out of your comfort zone. Participate in different kind of events. The good thing at Fort Hays State University is that you have hundreds of student clubs that you can join, and those clubs organize hundreds of different kinds of events that you can attend, and those are opportunities that are given to you to network with not only domestic students, but as Longwei mentioned, you'll also meet some international students from different parts of the world, from Europe, from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, and so on and so forth. So step out of your comfort zone, network, share your stories, learn from their stories, and keep moving. That's how you end up building a solid network that can be beneficial, that can be helpful, and you will get a just wonderful experience as a student at Fort Hays State University. That will be all for today. Thank you so much once again, Longwei, for your time. And to the people who are watching this, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so.